All right, guys, welcome back to the Rise Personal Training Podcast. Today with special guest, Matthew Cather from Cozmosize Fitness.
Thank you for having me, right guy.
Guys, Matt's one of my brothers. I've known him for 15 plus years now. Man, that's crazy. But yeah, we were talking. I'm like, hey, dude, come by. Let's knock out a podcast. So let's get to it, yeah?
Dude, I love it. Yeah, I mean, just seeing how much that you guys with Rise have grown over the last couple of years. Obviously, I've been eyes on it for a long time, and you as well with Cosmosize.
Yeah.
So looking super forward to doing this.
Yeah, not only like me and Matt, we've been coaching for about 20 years now, and so I'm like, hey, dude, let's just come by. Let's just talk about kind of, the journey that we've gone through, what things have changed through fitness and training over the years and stuff like that too. So, we've been coaching a long time, but we've also been business owners for a long time as well too. How early did you start? When did you start Cosmosize?
So I think 2017 is. I mean, I've obviously been doing the personal training since 2007, but it wasn't since 2017 when I took the 2 racquetball courts in the athletic club and built that the. So
17 when you had the spot, yeah, but
that's
you were doing
when I had
training
my own
for
membership
longer.
and all that. So and then ever since probably because I had athletic clubs had most of the hands on building and all that.
Yeah.
Right after COVID is when I kind of took it on more as a business.
Gotcha.
And that's when it really started kind of excelling to where now we are in New Hall.
Yeah, if you guys look at the failure rates for businesses, the number one is restaurants. I think the statistics still hold up. Number one is restaurants, the highest failure rate, and number 2 is gyms. Right? So
yeah, 100.
One of the hardest businesses to knock out and do. So
I think that's so built on like the systems of we're as personal trainers. We're great at training, but it is a whole different animal.
Yeah,
and that can be a whole nother thing. But I doing the last 20 years of fitness. It's very interesting to see all the changes and evolution of not only our training philosophies, but everything that was kind of thrown into the industry or like the public.
Yeah, because let's go like kind of early 2000s when we got started. A lot of it was still people were still kind of doing reading the muscle magazines. We're just kind of going in there doing like a regular bodybuilding split. There wasn't like a lot of like direction as there was now. Like it was starting to come around.
100%. All the bodybuilding magazines, those splits, and the isolated movements and all that. I started in a 24-hour fitness, and that's how I trained all my clientele when I first started. And then when I got to College of the Canyons and met Coach Dose.
Yeah, so we both came from the same mentor. Our mentor, Coach Dose. One of the best in the fields for forever,
so many reasons too, right?
So we're fortunate enough to have learned and mentored through him over the years, and that's kind of we have same methodology, same training, same coaching,
and
aspect.
I think respect too, I believe it was him that said it. It's it's not rocket science, but it totally is a science, and that's always held true.
Yeah.
And then it went through. I saw the CSCS. I'm like, what the heck is that? And then kinesiology became my major. Went through all that, and definitely have a whole respect for the art of training and strength conditioning coaches, and because in the fitness industry, it's pretty wacky, especially with Instagram, and now that's a whole nother.
Isn't that kind of crazy to think about? Is had we not got connected with Dose, we probably would have gone. What path would we have maybe kept going through?
Like that kind of. We would probably not be here today.
No, I don't know. Not a chance. We would have still gone through for a lack of better terms, like the stupid training route.
I believe it.
Not really know anything. Not like it kind of changed everything for the best for sure, right?
Yeah. There's not a question in my mind. And then just with even how we got introduced to that, I'm very thankful for that, and all our other strength coaches, and when we go to our seminars, and just that spider web that was developed, is humongous for. I know for sure Cosmosize, and I'm sure Rise as well. And it's seeing this kind of strength conditioning. I think that's a strong background. I don't really usually like saying functional training because that's pretty vague now and all that.
Yeah, I think it's solid strength conditioning because everything we do comes from basically strength coaches working with athletes to improve them, and then how we take that over into the general population. Essentially, what it is.
Absolutely,
and make the changes that we need to say. So even when we were starting off, it was like boot camps were the big thing. It's like a trainer like, I can go outside, I don't have to pay rent. Who cares what the weather's like? It's California, it's always warm and hot. Train a bunch of people, get them sweating. I don't need equipment, charge them a lot of money. So, and to people, that was a brand new thing at the time who may have come from stuff like the home videos, like the P90X,
yep.
Insanity.
All the video cassettes and the DVDs of whatever.
This is after
else.
the Buns of Steel era.
Yes.
Some of our clients will
the
still
good
know
old
those, some
days
Richard
now.
Simmons.
Yeah, for sure. And then, of course, that bloomed into the CrossFits and
CrossFit's early 2000s too.
The OCRs, the mud runs.
Yeah,
later in it.
CrossFit did one thing well, was
Insanity.
getting people back to lifting weights.
For sure.
Now, the program and methodology behind it, we're not the biggest fans of for a lot of reasons, and that's why we don't do that. But it got people active. It got people moving out.
There's always pros and cons, right?
Yeah.
And definitely, you can look at it however you want, but there were some pros in it. Getting people to resistance training, whether their methodology probably wasn't the best on a lot, but it did get the front squat out there. It did get some Olympic lifting.
But then the problems with like how many clients do you have that did CrossFit and they got hurt?
Well,
and they had
because
the injuries,
it
and now we've got to
more is better, or
especially because you beat down your body.
Bleed, let's throw up.
Yeah,
let's,
And when we're younger, we can handle it. And I know we've had issues with injuries and stuff over the years, and you have to change your training. You got to adapt. To train smarter than you need to.
Well, I think that's where we are today, definitely with Cozmosize. It's like, we're training for longevity. You want to live long and you want to live strong and you want to keep moving the way that you're moving. If we can do that pain-free, and that's the main goal, And I think that's, when I first started training, I wanted to be the collegiate or professional level strength and conditioning
We all
coach.
went the way. Like, most
100%.
trainers, we get into the field, we're like, oh man, I'm gonna be working with professional athletes.
Yeah.
We're in LA Hollywood. I'm gonna be working with Hollywood movie stars. But not usually the case for
love
like
the general
99%.
pop.
Yeah,
I do. I love them a lot, and that's been my pride and joy is seeing this clientele flourish and performing at nice high levels. Sometimes I don't even think they're aware of some of the stuff that they're doing.
Dude, no, you guys don't have like any idea like how. One, you guys are doing very similar training and programming that professional athletes do. So like you guys are thinking, oh, I'm just doing that. Maybe they're doing it at different levels and intensity stuff, but everything's very similar because a solid, we talked about this earlier before we jumped on, it's like what we do within a good strength and conditioning program, within a good fitness training program, whatever you want to call it. It really is like the gold standard for how training is and how it can carry over to everything else that you need to do.
And even since we first got in, right, it's lasted through all these different fads and phases and all that. And it's always been successful as long as people were sticking to it. And not veering off or not going to the latest trend or not changing their program because of this, that, and the other. Yes, we evolve, and I know we've talked about things that have been jumping into our programs. I know we mentioned mobility down the line, a little bit more being efficient with our time, especially with general pop, where you have an hour max where, we're trying to burn that candle at both ends as far as movements that we're getting done. The program design of people's frequency of their lifestyle. I think that we're getting it down pretty.
Yeah, that's really
awesome.
what's changed over the years a lot has been like really like dialing in the efficiency and optimizing. Hey, we only have a couple hours a week, and we know these people are, they're moving less than they ever have. They have more restrictions and injuries and stuff like that. So I feel like that's definitely what's changed most, at least for us, 100%. And how we can keep enhancing that. I know you guys are doing that too.
And like even like the format, right, of like semi-private. Making it more affordable for them so that they can increase that frequency and still get the love and care of a complete individualized program, right? Everybody has some sort of, a majority of them, some sort of nick, some sort of creaky whatever, and being able to adjust the programs and movements and all that, and like I said, be highly successful with their gains as far as strength, coordination, and that's all going to play into their longevity.
I know it's funny, like when you walked in, because I forgot I didn't have the keys, and you walked up and there was some other lady in the front, and she's like, "Oh, I just had a quick question. Like, do you guys work with people with injuries?" I'm like, "That's welcome to you're in the right place. That's literally all we work with. Not injuries, but movement restrictions,
For sure.
Or they've had some issues in the past that make us have to adjust.
And I'm sure for 6, 7, 8 years ago, that would be a limiting thing where like, it's not worth going back to the gym because maybe they got hurt in the gym.
And that also comes with the power of going to these continuing educational seminars and learning and keep, surrounding yourself with the best in the business to figure out how we can make those modifications better, how we can make them smarter. Not before, I think about some of the clients that I had that maybe had an injury, what I would have done with them 5 years, 10 years ago was completely different. And now
100.
it's just, we dialed everything into where it needs to be.
Yeah, and I think again, we've always had premises on like, movement quality and load selection and all that, but now it's more like, I don't know if it's taking pride into it, but it kind of is, like, and because you are having these clientele for the long run, right? Knowing that it's not a quick fix, that we want to have over a time, with that overload principle and all that of getting stronger, moving better, and burning that body fat. It's not the challenge. That's another big one that popped up. Remember the challenges, and where people would move way more than they ever could, and then eat way less.
Well, it's when you do. I mean, there's a reason we don't do challenges like that.
For sure.
But yeah, it's again the quick fix, the quick fad. It's like same thing with diets. I'm going to restrict myself. I'm not going to drink alcohol. I'm not going to have a carb ever again. It's like some things may work short end, but if it's not realistic or sustainable, it's not going to work. Same with some of these training programs. If you're doing something that's going to beat you down, that's going to leave you hurt, well, now you can't continue training.
It's not
or
realistic.
like a whole 75 hard, like that kind of thing that came around. I know a lot of people that did it, that loved it, that saw some great results. When that's day 76,
when those lights turn off,
like I don't know anyone who's
motivation's
like
gone
you can't stay on. It's not sustainable.
You're not
for a
doing
long term.
double days. You're not doing restricting those calories. It's not sustainable. Where I believe that, like, we try to utilize somebody's lifestyle. Yes, maybe make some changes. But we want it to be real life situation where mom or grandma can continue us down this path of increasing lean body mass, getting rid of that body fat, and moving better. Make it real life, not this thing where it's going to happen in 30 days, 90 days, or whatever. And then when they get back to real life, that yo-yo effect of them just blowing apart.
Yeah, it's just sustainability, really.
Yeah, and it takes away that kind of fake motivation, and then makes it towards that real dedication. I always kind of like
it's hard because everybody wants it now, and I get it. I have no patience. I go to a restaurant, fucking waiter hasn't. I need a water, I need a drink or something like that. Like, I get it, right? So, you come in and you're like, I need to see results right away. So it's a hard thing to understand that mindset of it's going to take time. So we have to focus on some other things like, hey, look, you're moving better, you're feeling better,
right?
You're getting a little bit stronger, and now we're going to see
that
this.
Coordination.
We got to stay on it to understand that it's not a quick fix.
And I think that's kind of
take time.
on us to preach that to them. And I think like with with most people's fitness, I treat it the same as like, brushing your teeth. It should be part of your day. You don't need to be motivated to go brush your teeth.
Wait. No one told me this.
Taking a shower, that your daily habit, or X amount of times throughout the week, whatever you're prescribed, right? I've never been a big fan of like the huge crazy motivation or that leaderboard kind of style fitness and all that. Like I just, it's part of my day. It's part of my regime, and that's what I try to preach to my clientele as well. Is it doesn't have to be a health nut by any means. I don't even want that at all. I just want to be consistent and sustainable. That's what I think.
It's a weird thing of like seeing someone who's like, all right, I want to work out a couple times to enhance my life, and then there's other people that make it become their life, which is like kind of like the competitive CrossFit. Maybe something like High Rocks. These people get like really hooked on. And it's like, there's maybe pros and cons to it. Like, hey, it's great you're getting up and getting active and moving. That's the point. But then it's like when you go too far in one direction, a lot of times that's when we'll see something gonna negatively come back. You're gonna get hurt. You're gonna come back.
I'm sure.
Or you're gonna keep chasing these different. What's next? What's next? Now I need something else.
Too, and I can say more, but it's
we'll leave that for the
for sure.
After Dark podcast.
But I completely agree. When it's kind of fitness becomes the wrong reason, if you want to, when the shirts come off right away before a sweat of drip comes out of your head, and you just want to put the show out there, that's not that welcoming to the. But even though most do, and I know for sure most of the communities are awesome, but from the outside looking in, sometimes it's not the best.
Yeah, and even we were kind of talking, regarding training programs. Let's say something like High Rocks or like an obstacle course race or whatever it is. A lot of times people think that, okay, if the activity is this, that's exactly what I need to do, right? And so again, we were talking about like, let's look at every top athlete on the planet, and you break down what their training is. It's a good, solid strength and conditioning program, right? And their activity that they do is going to be different because that's going to help. The whole idea is it should make them stronger, faster, move better, reduce injuries so they can perform what they need to do.
Real world.
So we don't need to copy the exact thing. So people are like, oh, I'm going to do a High Rocks event, which are these like, for you guys who don't know, High Rocks is basically a competitive, I want to say this nicely.
Locomotion.
It's like a competitive workout, and you're going to time yourself or beat a time and stuff like this, and there's certain exercises that you have to do. So anyone can do it. There's no necessarily
pass fail kind of. Everybody's going to get it completed.
It's a fun thing, and if you like it, great, go right ahead and do it. But that doesn't mean that's what your training should be.
Yeah. I think almost is really cool. Like I remember with my own training, and that is the same with Cozmosize, is like powerlifting and strength lifting, which is a little bit different than not a bench press. It's like a strict press.
Yeah.
And I signed up for one just to do it. And it plays pretty well, but I haven't done like the standard barbell deadlift in years before that, and I had to do it on a didn't know really where to start. But I thought it was really nice that I did it, and my program held true to these guys that completely just do that, camp out on the barbells and stuff like that. And I was able to do that, and I think something like a high rocks or something, go test your fitness. Maybe you can change a little bit as far as work capacity for your running, or if you're not doing that much of this, that, and the other. But it should not change your resistance training. I believe resistance training should be your main course of that meal, and I know I've brought this up before. I always thought it was interesting about like military and police clientele when they want to get ready for this training.
Yeah, we have this is the performance test where we have to run this much. I have to do deadlift X, I have to do million sit-ups or push-ups.
It's that high volume body weight stuff.
Like they're standardized testing.
And then like tying the rucks and doing on the miles of rucks. It's like, you're going to have to do that in your training. Let's try to bulletproof you first before getting there, right? We can build, that capacity, but also you need to be strong. You need to be, injury resilient rather than going into it all banged up. And
you need that foundation of good qualities within strength and power and stuff like that, which you'll get from a regular strength and conditioning program that are going to make that easier to do whatever you're going to do. Yes, you'll have to work on conditioning and other aspects of it too. So the whole thing is like, keeping the main thing. Don't try to jump around to these shiny objects of these crazy different training things. So, but again, people get bored and they want to try something new, right? And that's the thing we were kind of talking to is like, as a coach, sometimes we may feel like we're getting bored because we're coaching the same things over and over again too. But we have to stick to that program because that's how we're going to get results.
And it's tried and tested too long to know that we are getting the results that we want, right? And outside looking in, me and you see it as far as the load prescriptions, volume prescriptions, this, that, and our periodization, right? They don't see that. They see the front squat every 4 weeks, but I do think that's a strong quality as a trainer or coach is sticking to the plan, sticking to the system, because there's been it may seem stale, right? It may, but I'm telling you that simple scales, that fancy fails kind of terminology, we see it, right? We see it with the gyms that are just something new every day, kind of thing, and that's just a revolving door.
Workout of the day, right? There's a method to the madness in how we create these programs and why we do it. So you guys come in, right? You've got your program set up. We've got our program set up. Here we go. We're going to do it. You guys don't see the back end of the big picture, how we change things, how we modify, when we adjust, when we progress, regress, like change things. All these have a reason in how we do it in the system. And really just from the results that we have from doing it, we know what works. We know what's going to get results. So you just got to show up and do it. If you want to learn, you can always ask us. We can talk about programming all day. We'll talk about it all day.
Every once in a while.
Sometimes people ask me a question, I get like all excited. I'm like, yes, finally.
It is honestly my favorite. And I'm sure, just like you, I know we were talking about, not throwing shame by any means, but sometimes when a program comes across your desk and you're like, what in the world? And you're like, give me a full week of this. And you try to reverse engineer and be like, what is going on?
Yeah, like, we did you interned with those too, right?
I did, yeah.
Yeah, so like, our mentor, it was collegiate strength and conditioning. And so sometimes the athletes would go to other schools and those would be like, hey, send me with the program they're doing. And we would take a look at, like, you couldn't make this up on purpose if you wanted to.
It's like you're just
some of the worst workouts
every
and programs
exercise
you've ever
knew about
seen.
and just
It's like, all right, what's every upper body exercise ever?
And it's like literally if you did it, you'd probably be there for an hour and a half.
Yeah.
An hour, 45 minutes. Like, that was pretty surreal.
So
and then it's like straight sets too, I believe. Just banging it out. Boom, boom, boom. That was
I love seeing clients like, oh, what about this workout? What about this program? And I look at it, before even looking at anything, I'm just reading through the program. I'm like, this would take you 2 hours to complete. There's someone wrote this that never has done it before. So,
and again, seeing how the industry has changed since our time, talking about the in-home, and the Group X, and then the CrossFits and the High Rocks. Another big one has been Instagram. It's just that online training modality.
I want to say for good or for worse. I don't think so. I don't even know. Is there better coming from it at this point?
Oh, definitely. I think the opposite. I think it's gnarly that, and again, it has quieted down a little bit. I would say, right, especially during COVID time.
I wonder if it's because our circle who we see, and we have clients sending us videos and stuff because I don't pay attention. Be like, oh, do you follow this person?
I
don't know. I have
you
no
don't
idea.
get the message of why haven't we done this, and it's something radical. Oh yes, but yeah, I think that has been, but it's totally quiet down a little bit. But that became a little strong point. I think that might have been just during the COVID where the gyms weren't open and things like that, and became
there's a quick pop in there for sure, and then there was definitely the rebound of people wanting to come back and work out, outside of their house and get some coaching.
And that was actually kind of tough because it almost became where education wasn't a valid reason to make you a strong coach. It was like more on the way you look or the crazier stuff.
We're going on a whole thing, right? But it's like, right. Again, it's you don't have to have, and I say this over time, like all the time. I'm like, oh God, I want to be careful how I say this.
We can edit it out.
It's hard to, like, what can you trust, and how do you have a filter to understand, like. The thing is, when you don't know, everyone's an expert and stuff like this, and the people that are focusing all the time on posting online stuff, they don't work with real people.
Well, 100%.
Like, oh yeah, I wrote a program for somebody. I trained my brother in real life. Like, do you actually work with people in real life, day to day? And that's my thing. I'm like, hey, look, you can be an online trainer. That's fine. But if you don't actually work with real people, if you haven't coached people in real life, I don't really care what you have to say.
That's a whole nother pipeline, right?
Now, maybe it's on a research thing. That's fine. Hey, great. That's great research. But if research doesn't mean that what's happening in real life, you need a combination of both too. Now, I'm not just making stuff up that isn't backed by science, but it's also it goes back and forth too. So
I'm really glad because I love too. This is another thing where skinny used to be the thing that general popped want. The lean body mass is on the uptick.
That's probably one of the best things that's come from
100%.
This more of the social media thing. I think it's especially more towards women or like more 100. Like strength training is like they want to get stronger. Yes. They want to get some little bit more muscle now finally too. So that's definitely the thing.
I've
definitely good to see.
Seeing that
minus the whole issue with the youth and steroids. Like that's a whole nother nightmare now. But
I think most of your clientele 40 plus in here. Yeah. Same at Cozmosize, and I'm just loving. There's still the handful that think their 11% body fat is too much when it's but there's a lot of them seeing that lean body mass track up is what they get most fired up about. And if we can burn the candle at both ends with that lean body mass going up and that fat mass going down, it's home runs. I call it the A+ on the end body. But man, I'm stoked for that.
Yeah, it's cool. It's just cool to see where we've come from, where we've gone. And again, what works continues to work, but we find better ways to enhance it and make it better and everything.
And the way that we deliver it, like we were saying with the semi-private approach, and being
it's just
able
the best way to take the high quality training with like kind of a group camaraderie atmosphere, make it affordable.
I almost kind of like it, seeing it. Like what changed my life was the College of the Canyons, right? And that team aspect. It has a little bit of blip of that.
Yeah, it's that combination of that too.
And then, but yeah, just so you're saying, we can adapt on people's frequencies. We can adapt on people's movement abilities, their limitations, their loads, and all that kind of stuff. It's pretty freaking awesome how long it's come. Because were you obviously a one-on-one personal trainer before? Right?
I had done it. I've done it. I mean, we've all done probably every type of, from large group to one-on-one to everything in between too. But yeah, there's a reason we do this. It's because it really is like the best to do.
It's a home run.
I do miss some of the group stuff. It's always fun to coach and be around, but for the people and where we are and where they are today, like this is the way to go for sure.
For sure.
So man, I'm glad you stopped by.
Oh, absolutely.
Guys, I tell people all the time, if you have friends, if you're in Santa Clarita, you're near Newhall, Matt's the go-to guy. There's not a lot of people that I trust and would prefer, and I hate to say, like, look, I don't know where to send you because I don't know anyone that I can trust, right? And I'm like, hey, my next closest friend is Matt over in Newhall. So if you guys know people in Santa Clarita looking for training, we have clients. We have people moving all the time, dude. It's insane. So I'm always trying to find them a good place to go to. If you guys want to check out Matt at Cosmosize Fitness, check out his Instagram. Send me a message. I'll connect you. Man, glad to have you on here, brother.
Always a pleasure, dude.
All right, man.
I look forward to we'll do it again. Okay?
All right, we'll see you guys next week. Thank you.